Today we're going to be bringing in real questions from realtors, caterers, bookkeepers who are facing challenges with their automation and their business. And I'm going to be answering them in this episode just for you. So let's hop right in and see what questions they have this week. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Automation Show. We have been doing something a little bit different in these episodes where we're taking questions that come to us. Some of these have been coming from direct messages. Some have been coming from clients that we've been working with, and some of them have been questions that have been posted online. So taking some of these questions related to automation and Go High Level and bringing them to you in the show in real life scenarios. So some of these you may resonate with and some of these you may not, but I urge you to listen to the complete episode because I'm going to be giving you my on-candid advice in each of these scenarios. So, disclaimer, I have read the questions, but I am going to be talking off the cuff about what I would recommend about this. All right, so let's jump right into this and let's take a look at the first question. So this is a question here. This came from a wedding photographer, and they do about 30 weddings a year. And they said that I built a gorgeous email sequence and now I'm scared it's double emailing my bride. So this is always something that when you start to work with automation can be a realistic concern because it does happen. And I will raise my hand and say, yes, it's happened to me over the years as well. So she uses the word email sequence, and that's because Go High Level just released a new email sequence feature in their beta labs this month. And if you don't know what that is, it's a really easy builder to be able to build a sequence of emails. So basically you would, drop somebody into the sequence and it would just send out, email 1, email 2, email 3 with some time delays between it. So basically a light version of an automated workflow. So what this client actually did was they went in there and they turned it on in Labs, and Labs is just where they release new features and you can go in and turn them on in advance, and built out this sequence. Now, what she didn't really do in this was went and looked and see, is there any other automated nurtures that are happening that this contact or set of contacts was already in. And that's what you need to do. And this is where, when you're building automated workflows or building onto something or changing what you do, you need to always be aware of what is currently active and in play, because adding something new may be great, but it's not always going to give the best experience if you've got long-term nurtures and different other automated elements that are going out, because people are going to then get too many emails or text messages. They're going to get things that are just disjointed and it doesn't look great for you. Now, she also mentioned in the post, in the comments, that, what about that stop on reply feature that Go High Level has? Now, this is a great feature, and this basically means that if somebody responds to an email that's in a workflow or even in an email sequence, that it can stop any future emails. So using sequences are great if you're doing follow-up on something. So following up on somebody that you want to book an appointment with, and having that and reaching out to them, haven't heard from you, haven't taken the action or whatever that is. And if they reply back, and that's what you really want people to do, is reply back to that, engage in conversation. You don't want the next one to go out. So I've seen great success of this is, trying to get people to re-engage with you or their past clients to using something like this. So when somebody replies to that message, it will stop that sequence from happening. Now, let's take a look at the next one in here. This one came from a real estate agent. They were a part-time assistant at one point, and now they are going out solo. So what they said here was, everybody says, I have to reply in 60 seconds now. Won't that make me sound like a robot? Yes, it will. However, what I like to say is acknowledgement is worth its weight in gold. So by that, a lot of times we send messages to people and we're waiting to see if they have received it, right? You know, social media has conditioned us to this in Messenger and even in iMessage, where you're looking for that read receipt, right? Remember back in the day of emails, you'd send those read receipts, another email back saying this has been received. Well, that idea is if you can't actually be the human that can respond quickly, you should at least send something to acknowledge it has been received and set that expectation moving forward. So if you can, what I would say is we build this sequence so that it will notify you that a lead or a message has come in. And if you can click and respond to that. So what we tend to do is put a link in there to the contact record in that notification that knows that you can click on it, that you're going to go and respond to it, and then the follow-up automation won't flow. But if you don't respond in a set period of time, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever that is, then a message can go out to that contact saying, just want to acknowledge that we have received or I have received your message within my system. I'm busy at the moment, but I will respond within the next 2-3 hours, whatever that time frame is. So they know that you're going to be responding to that, right? So that's something key, is making sure that you have those responses figured out versus just having an empty shell where nothing happens. And then what they're doing is they're saying, I don't know if this person received this message. I don't know when they're going to reply back. Maybe I should contact someone else, right? Or if they're a client, they might send that text, might send that email. Next thing they're calling, and what's happening to you is you're in an important meeting, you're with another client, and not only is your phone dinging, your inbox is filling up, but now your phone is ringing because they're calling you about that, because no expectation was actually set there. So there are ways around that in your automation. All right, question number 3. This one's from a bookkeeper, actually a firm owner with a team of 4. And I love this one. And I think I talked about this in a previous episode. But she says, I built the workflows. My team just doesn't use them. So I see this all the time, because what happens is we have a tendency to, as an owner, especially if we have people that are working for us or with us, is we have great ideas, right? You have great ideas. And you're like, I can build something to do this thing. I can build it to solve this problem. I'm going to make their life great because that's how awesome I am. But the problem lies is you didn't get their buy-in. You probably didn't consult with them as to what are the real issues that they need help with and bring them into the process. Right? That's going to be key. If you just develop something and hand it over and say, here, I want you to use this because I think this is going to make your life so much easier. And they look at it and they're like, that's a whole new process. Like, that's not how I work. That's not how the flow goes. This is clunky. This is janky. This isn't really what it is. They're not going to adopt it. Right? So what you're doing is you need to work at building something with your team, not building something at your team. And that is going to be absolutely the game changer between two processes, is talk to them. Go and speak with your team members and be like, how are things going? Like walk me through a day. How do you work, right? Because not everybody in your team works the same way. Not everybody uses the system the same way. Is you want to make sure that what you're building is actually going to be of service to them. All right, question number 4. This is a med spa owner with a staff of 8. Oh, I see this all the time. This is the professional donors, as we like to call it. I've paid for Go High Level 5 months and built absolutely nothing, right? Oh, and this is not just limited to Go High Level. This could be any software. And I'll raise my hand again. I have bought things with the intention of going and using them. Courses being one. Hey, stand up. Anybody in the room bought a course with all the intention of completing that course, and you're lucky if you made it through the first lesson, not because the content wasn't great, just because you just didn't have the time to do it. All right. Or the pain wasn't big enough for you to continue on there. Right. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll buy in for the wrong reason. Right? They'll buy in because somebody said, hey, you absolutely need this tool or this software. Or have you heard of all these great things? Well, use Go High Level as the example, because that's what we're representing here in this episode is, Go High Level can do lots of amazing things, right? And that's not a false claim. It absolutely can. But what people will do is they'll buy into a tool or software because they hear all the great things that someone else has been able to do with it. And they buy in because they want to have that lifestyle. They want to have this great thing that can do all these great things for them, but they don't actually take the time to understand, what is it that I need, right? You don't need another software, right? Don't need another tool. You need to solve the things that are not only leaking in your business, right? Leads, follow-up, money, revenue, all that kind of stuff. Time being a huge one. But if you don't know what those things are, if you haven't taken the time to audit what your exact day is, what your exact week is, what your exact month is, what are the things you do, the things that are eating up the time every single day that can give you back the lifetime that you need, then you're not going to be able to know what tool can actually do those things for you. So this happens a lot, is you buy the software before you've done the big work beforehand. So what I say to you is start to think about what it is that you've done in your business that you need help with. Now, if you are in this case right now where you've bought a software and you haven't done anything in it and you're like, well, I'm just paying for this or donating to it, maybe, hey, we'll preface this. You're an investor now, right? This feels a little bit better. You're investing in that software. So wipe out the guilt, right? You can't do anything about those 5 months, 3 months, 10 months, whatever that time frame is. But what you can do now is you can start to do the work to then start to figure out what you can build next. All right. So that's what you need to do is figure that out. And if there's a point where you're like, hey, you know what? I need to set that white flag moment where if I don't do this in another 2 months and I'm at the same point, then I'm going to cancel it. Right. So that's what I'm going to recommend for that. All right. Question 5. This one here is a catering company owner, 18 staff, and they are scaling. So it says, my event software and my CRM each think they are in charge. Ooh, the software power struggles, right? Who is the place of truth, right, in this? And I had a consult this morning with a potential client where we were looking at what they were doing in their business and what do they actually need? Like, do they need a software? Do they need AI? Do they need this? And I'm like, what is it that you actually do every single day? Like, what is your process? And they told me they were on the Google ecosystem. They live and breathe in email, in calendar, in documents, and all that kind of stuff. So that is the source of truth, right? That is where the data lies in their case. So in this, what I'd say with this is, it's not missing something, right? You got two systems here. And there's no real single source of truth in this because you've got an event software, which is really helping them, organize their events. And we see this in financial advising too, where the CRM can do a great job at, top of funnel type of work, right? Generating the leads, nurturing those leads, whatever, until somebody becomes a client. And then they move into want to be like a practice management software. This would work in this scenario because the CRM is not going to be an event software. Event softwares are built to do specific things for events. That's why they are very niche in that. So there's a handoff that happens there. Utilizing your CRM for before and after events is what I would say in this scenario, because you got your top of funnel, your marketing, your outreach, your sales process, all that kind of stuff. And then once they become signing the contract and becoming a client, your event software is where it will transition over, right? And then you can either, do some manual entry depending on the amount of volume, or you can, build now with AI, what we call a middleware, which can take that information from the CRM and pass it into the event software if it's got an open AI integration. And most like web-based softwares have an AI connection. And if you haven't played with Claude and Claude Code, can do a lot of great work for you to build that type of stuff in there. So that's my recommendation for that is making sure that you're not trying to do what the other software does great at in one that does that part very mediocre in it, right? We see that a lot with event management and taking ticket registrations with Go High Level. It's just not going to do that. You're going to need another solution that would then pass that information over for that. Okay. So anyway, that wraps up our 5 questions that we have this week, and we answered. Hopefully there's something in there that can resonate with you. If you've got some type of automation headache, please send me a message. Send me the question. There's my email on the screen, Shaun@bluecowmarketing.ca. If you need help with automation, if you need help even getting started and you want to use Go High Level, you can go to our website, bluecowmarketing.ca. There is a link at the top for a 30-day free trial. You can buy it directly from Go High Level. We are a white label partner of Go High Level, which basically means we call ours Client Connector. It is Go High Level at the core, all the features that are there, which are $97 Canadian. I'm not going to hide that from you. $97 Canadian. So if you are a Canadian listener to this and you want to get your hands on that, that's great. So you don't have to pay in US dollars. And they give a 14-day free trial. We give a 30-day free trial on that. So go ahead, go over to bluecowmarketing.ca and check that out. Thanks for listening, and keep automating the things that give you your life back.
This episode of The Automation Show is brought to you by Blue Cow Marketing. Blue Cow helps small businesses clean up messy marketing and build simple systems that actually work. Things like better customer journeys, workflows that keep your leads engaged, and fewer things slipping through the cracks. If your business feels busier than it should, Blue Cow helps you get your time back without hiring more staff. Grab a free clarity call at bluecowmarketing.ca and see what your business could feel like with better systems behind it.